Welcome back. It's time for your second hour of GMN. Now, Financial Institutions and Markets Act, FIMA, seek to consolidate and upgrade the various standalone laws under the mandate of the Namibia Financial Institutions Supervisory Authority, that is NAMFISA, and is one of the three interconnected pieces of legislation, namely the NAMFISA Bill 2019 and the Financial Services Adjudicator Bill 2019. Kenneth Simata Matamola, the Chief Executive Officer of NAMFISA, now joins us with more details on this. Mr. Matamola, good morning and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Mr. Matamola, just to start with, in terms of the current NAMFISA Act, what are the functions of the authority?
In terms of the current NAMFISA Act, the functions of the authority is to supervise financial institutions and their business thereof, as well as advising the Minister of Finance with respect to the business of financial institutions that are in the non-banking sector, as well as to enforce the provision of Financial Intelligence Act with respect to entities that fall within the regulatory and supervisory ambit of NAMFISA. So that's our mandate currently.
Mm-hmm. And Mr. Matamola, why regulate the non-banking financial sector?
I did not get clearly your question. Please, if you may repeat.
My question was for you to emphasize the importance of regulating the non-banking financial sector.
Regulation of the financial sector is quite important because we need to protect the consumers as well as the players in the market. And the regulation of the financial sector, fostering the issues like the correction of the market efficiencies, promote orderliness in the financial sector. As I said, the protection of consumers is paramount, and also to ensure that there is confidence in the financial system. That's why regulation is important.
And who are the participants in the non-banking financial sector?
There are a number of participants in the non-banking sector that spans from the pension funds, friendly societies, micro-lenders, investment management companies, unlisted investment managers, unit trusts, or you can call them collective investment schemes, stock exchanges, medical aid funds, insurance, whether long or short term, together with their intermediaries, the brokers and agents. So anything that is providing financial service and it's not a bank falls within the ambit of the NAMFISA regulatory space.
Just unpack for us this morning, Mr. Matamola, what the Financial Institutions and Markets Act is.
The Financial Institution and Markets Act has consolidated and harmonized all the regulatory laws in the financial sector, especially in the non-banking sector. And what it does, it fosters the financial soundness of financial institutions and intermediaries. It promotes financial stability of the financial system. It also fosters high standard of conduct of business by financial institutions and their intermediaries. It fosters or promotes the fairness, efficiency, and orderliness of the financial market and the financial institutions. Protection of consumers, as I have said, that is also what it promotes as well. Also, it promotes the issue of public awareness and consumer education, that the public should be aware of the rights and obligations with respect to when they get involved in the financial sector. And more importantly, also is the reduction and deterrence of financial crime, that the financial system should not be used by unscrupulous people that can erode the confidence in the financial system.
Mm-hmm. And what are the benefits of the proposed legislative framework under the Financial Institutes and Markets Act?
When you look at this new legislative instrument, you will see that it is an integrated approach to regulation and supervision of the non-banking sector. To be specific here, you see that the new act introduces uniformity and consistency of rules, provisions, and also it eliminates the silos and eliminate the conflicting provisions, and also it eliminates regulatory arbitrages, because the laws that are currently being administered in the non-banking sector spans from over 50 years and were being enacted at different points in time, and therefore you can imagine there can be regulatory arbitrages, uniformity is not achieved, consistency is not achieved. Another important aspect of this new legislative regime is that it is more responsive to the changes in the market, that is more flexible. When I talk about being flexible, is that when the environment changes, the authority can issue standards, or the Minister of Finance may issue regulations that can try and correct some of those new developments in the market to ensure that the system is not exposed unduly to the risks that comes with the changes in the market. However, I need to point out here that the bill, or not the bill now, which is the act, still preserves the powers that are enshrined in the Constitution, where Parliament reserves the right to make the laws, which is the fixed policies that require certainty for the players in the market. And Minister and NAMFISA can only issue regulation or subordinate legislation that are not inconsistent with the act that has been promulgated or passed by Parliament. And as I said, the greatest benefit of this law is that consumer awareness and protection is quite explicit.
Mm-hmm. And does this act give the Minister of Finance and NAMFISA more power?
The act just gives necessary powers to the Minister as well as NAMFISA in order to ensure that the mandate of NAMFISA is carried out. And to this end, like I said, the Minister, when there is change in policy direction, might issue the regulation because the market has moved, has changed. And the NAMFISA can issue standards so that the operations of the financial sector achieves its objective of being orderly, of high standard. And therefore, when you look at that, the powers that are enshrined in there are necessary powers that are in line with best practices that have been put in place. So, what the Act also incorporates is the national, regional, and international principles that are relevant to the functions of the non-banking financial sector. So, in answering to that question, I would say the powers and the power that has been given to NAMFISA and the Minister of Finance are quite necessary to ensure that the financial sector operates accordingly.
Well, Mr. Matamola, we're coming to the end of our conversation. Any final remarks you'd like to leave us with this morning?
What I want to say to the public is that the reform in the financial sector comes a long way, and now the Act has been promulgated and published in the Gazette. With that, then we move into the implementation stage. And the way this is going to be implemented is that the subordinate legislation to be issued by the Minister as well as NAMFISA need to be consulted with all the stakeholders, being the industry players as well as the public, before they come into force. And we envisage that this consultation will take probably 9 to 12 months, and thereafter the FIMA Act and the NAMFISA Act will come into force. And another important thing that I would want to say to the public is that NAMFISA plays a very crucial role in ensuring financial stability and transforming the non-banking sector. And people might also be interested to hear whether the non-banking sector, how is it doing currently, given that we have gone through the economic downturn, we have gone through, or we are still experiencing the pandemic. Currently, the non-banking sector is sound, stable, and safe, so there's no cause of concern. So we remain open to have a collaborative engagement with stakeholders so that we can successfully implement the new legislative regime. For more information, people can visit our website, which is www.namfisa.com.na, that they can familiarize themselves with the act that has been published in the Gazette. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Mr. Kenneth Matamola, who is the Chief Executive Officer of NAMFISA, speaking to us via Skype there. We'll be right back after this.